I mention Addiesdive month in, month out when I round up my top 5 AliExpress watches that I've spotted, but I feel like there's a big lack of related content when it comes to them on my channel, so I'm here to fix that. I'm going to show you why I believe they could be the best budget offering on the market at the moment when we're talking around the £100 mark. Stick around because you're going to love this one. Hi guys, my name is Jason. I am your watch guy today. I'm going to be showing you what I believe to be one of the biggest hitters on the Chinese Homage market right now. I've been sent this watch by the Addiesdive website. They are linked in the description. If you wanted to pick one of these up, make sure you use that link. Their prices seem pretty competitive to me. You don't have to account for the taxes like you do on AliExpress, and they have some fantastic deals each week. Let's get into it. The first thing I thought when I took this out of the little Pelican box that they sent it in was, God, this is solid. If you account for all the discounts, you're looking at spending around £100 on this watch. As many of you will remember, at that same type of price point, I had an ongoing relationship with Pagani Design, and we all said exactly the same thing about them. We'd be happy to pay a couple of pounds more if they just implemented the things that we asked for. I believe that's exactly what Addiesdive did. The finishing on the casing is simple but really well executed. The complete casing is brushed throughout, and the curvature to the lugs really does work very well with that brushing. It definitely helps you see how the angles of the watch flow. I am a big fan of turned lugs and the effect that they have on a profile. Now we know that's not from Addiesdive's design book. It's from another very famous Swiss brand that you know I love, but it's still nice to see. I think it's time that we go through the dimensions. It's 40.1mm in diameter, 13.5mm thick. Lug to lug is 46mm. Do bear in mind we have male end links on this piece, and these lugs are 20mm lugs. I think it's really important for me to mention how well built this watch is. The crown is bulky, has a nice profile to it, and has a decent level of grip that is super easy to use. As well as that, it's obviously signed with the Addiesdive logo. The bezel has the same style of grip that you would imagine you'd see on a sub, but with a much deeper cutaway. Honestly, I think if we span this one quick enough, it'd be able to cut through a tree. The bezel insert is extremely vintage and definitely brings home that 60s diver type of style. The markings have an aged lume type of effect to them. This is made in K1 mineral crystal, and it definitely gives us the Bakelite type of style that, again, you know I love. As a vintage dive enthusiast, it's just something that I love to see working its way back in to the market and designs. The sapphire crystal has plenty of levels of AR coating to it, as you can see through the shots with the blue tint over that crystal. The case back is screwed down and signed with the Addiesdive logo. It's got the usual specifications around the outer edge. Now, before we move on to the dial on this piece, I just want to bring this back home. 120 click unidirectional bezel, screw down crown, both with fantastic levels of grip to them. A dome tabletop sapphire crystal and a screw down case back. It's definitely dive watch aesthetic. However, it is only 100 meters water resistance. The dial's very simple in nature, but that's exactly what you want it to be. The minute track definitely has an incremental type of style to it and almost resembles a vintage timing instrument, but like not a watch. You know what I mean. The entire dial is printed throughout with slight golden borders to the hour markings. Again, that brings back into the vintage type of aesthetic that they are trying to build with this piece. Finishing off that vintage type of vibe, we have this diamond hour hand and a fence post minute hand. A really nice mixture that you would not be mistaken in thinking remind you of a Seamaster, you know, a vintage one that is. The arrowhead second hand obviously completes this look overall. The Addiesdive logo is printed to the 12 o'clock, very simple nature. We also have a date window at the 3 o'clock. Now, that isn't colour matched to the dial, but because it takes the place of that 3 o'clock indice, I think it sort of blends in well enough, considering the price point that we are playing at. I think it's about time for a little bit of Lume, don't you? So this is the Lume shot to the AD2058, and I've got to say, it's well lumed, does have a nice glow to it. Gonna say off the bat though, they've missed the trick by not luming that bezel, and they could have gone an extra mile and lumed the minute markers
around the outer edge. Overall, it's a very good quality of loom, I'll say that much. I think I'd give this a 7 out of 10. That's a fair score for me. Let me know what you think in the comments.
The bracelet is a very simple yet effective addition to the piece. I feel like I keep telling you that it's a very simple watch, but the thing is they've done all of the simple things well, and that's exactly what you need in this type of price range. A free-link style, fully brushed, matching into that casing. We do have male end links, they do protrude, and I will show you the effects of them shortly. The bracelet tapers towards the clasp, and this clasp again, very simple yet effective. It's milled, it's signed with the Addiesdive logo, double pushers, and plenty of levels of micro adjustment. Let's get it on wrist so you can see how it looks.
This is the Addiesdive AD2058 on wrist. It does definitely give you that vintage Seamaster type of vibe, and that's obviously the homage that they're going for here. One thing I'll note is the male end links definitely make this a much bigger wear on wrist. Not something that I'm a fan of considering my smaller wrist. I know that a lot of people with bigger wrist sizes will not find this an issue at all. This is just my personal preference, but overall, it's a very good looking watch and definitely feels like it's worth the money.
This watch is certainly better than the price suggests. It's also definitely better than other brand offerings like Pagani Design or Cadison that used to play in the same market as these. Addiesdive have certainly left those brands in the dust, and they become one of the more premier budget watchmakers on the AliExpress market, on the Chinese market. That being said, it certainly does not mean that this piece is perfect. Firstly, I'm not a fan of the end links. I think they extend the wearability of the watch slightly too much for me, and I understand that people with bigger wrists aren't even going to feel it. But for myself, I have to mention that because it's something that gnawed at me. Secondly, the bezel already has some wear points or some colour defects that have slipped through quality control. That definitely shows the lower level that you're going to have to expect from a Chinese brand that are only asking £100 for a watch like this. Overall though, I think it's a quality deal. It's backing the NH35 movement, and we know how reliable that movement is and how much of a workhorse it is. Around the £100 mark, it's packing specifications and quality that it really has no right to. Remember, if you want to pick this one up, the website is linked in the description, and they have all the other models that you could wish for on there. As I say, they calculate the discounts at the checkout, so make sure you add it into your basket and see what the real price is. I've got to say, I'm looking forward to working with them again. Thanks for watching today, guys. I really appreciate it. I guess the question is for Addiesdive. I know it's one that I believe, but do you believe that they have surpassed their former peers on the market? Have they done what Pagani Design simply couldn't or wouldn't over the years? I believe they have. Let me know what you think. The link for this piece is in the description. Make sure you go and show the Addiesdive website a little bit of love and see if you can get yourself a fantastic deal too. Remember to subscribe for more watch content, and I'll see you in the next one.